Before we go any further, if you value serious military history, fieldcraft, and lessons paid for in blood and frostbite, subscribe to Iron Age Instincts now. This channel exists to preserve hard-earned knowledge that modern comfort has made us forget. What follows is not theory, not fantasy, and not internet survival fluff. These are methods used by real World War II soldiers who had to sleep on frozen earth night after night, knowing that one mistake meant hypothermia, trench foot, or death. During World War II, frozen ground killed silently. On the Eastern Front, in the Ardennes, in Norway, and in the Alps, men learned quickly that you don't rest in the cold. You negotiate with it, you deceive it, you survive it. These 7 sleeping hacks were not written in manuals first. They were learned under fire, passed man to man, and refined by those who lived long enough to teach them. How World War II soldiers learned that insulation mattered more than warmth itself. The first brutal lesson soldiers learned was that heat is useless if the ground steals it faster than the body can make it. Frozen soil acts like a heat sink. Men who lay directly on it, even wrapped in blankets, often woke up shaking or not at all. The solution was simple but non-negotiable: separation from the ground. German and Soviet troops alike scavenged relentlessly for anything that created dead airspace. Pine boughs, straw, splintered doors, ammunition crates split open and flattened, even empty ration boxes were layered beneath the body. The rule was thickness over comfort. 5 centimeters of compressed straw did more than a heavy coat ever could. Applied today, the same logic holds. Whether you're winter camping or bugging out, prioritize building a ground platform before you even think about sleeping bags. Dry branches, cardboard, folded clothing, or even a backpack laid flat will outperform most modern gear if used correctly. Why did soldiers sleep on top of their equipment instead of beside it? Well, one of the most counterintuitive habits from the Second World War was in fact sleeping right on your gear. Helmets, packs, spare uniforms, and even weapons were often placed under the torso or thighs. Now, this wasn't laziness, far from it. It was all about thermal strategy. That equipment would trap air, lift the body off the cold ground, and stay dry thanks to body heat. American infantry in the Ardennes, for example, quickly learned that a wet pack left beside you would freeze solid by morning, but a pack kept under you stayed pliable and usable. Practically speaking, this also helped prevent theft or loss during those chaotic night movements. In modern terms, if you ever find yourself forced to sleep in cold conditions, stack your least needed gear beneath you, not beside you. You're building a barrier, not just storing luggage. How did shared body heat become an unspoken survival contract? In extreme cold, personal space simply vanished. Soviet soldiers in foxholes and German troops in snow trenches slept pressed together, often without a word. Body heat multiplies when it's shared. 2 men under one shelter halve their heat loss, and 3 men, well, they dramatically increase their survivability. This wasn't about comfort. It was about discipline. Units that resisted this practice out of pride suffered more cold injuries, plain and simple. For today's survivalist, the lesson is, quite clear. If you're not alone, sleep close. Share insulation. Design your shelter around group heat, not individual comfort. Cold doesn't care about ego. Why did vapor barriers save more lives than thicker blankets? One of the most advanced field lessons came from noticing moisture, not just temperature. Soldiers learned that sweat could kill as effectively as cold itself. Wet wool froze and breath condensed inside blankets. The answer was a kind of crude vapor control. German mountain troops, for example, used oilcloth ponchos beneath them and sometimes even over them, trapping warmth and preventing ground moisture from wicking upward. Some even used newspapers or maps as improvised vapor barriers. The principle is simple and, honestly, timeless. A waterproof layer under your insulation keeps heat in and moisture out. Today, a tarp, plastic sheet or emergency bivvy can replicate this perfectly, provided it's placed beneath your insulation, not directly against bare skin. How World War II soldiers trained themselves to sleep in short, efficient cycles. Long, deep sleep was, well, rare in those freezing conditions. Instead, soldiers trained themselves to rest in cycles, 30 to 90 minutes, then wake, adjust circulation, stomp feet, check extremities, and then, sleep again. This prevented frostbite and allowed constant monitoring of cold stress. Modern people often underestimate this. Survival sleep is not civilian sleep. If you're ever in freezing conditions, set alarms or assign watch rotations. Check your toes, fingers and face. Movement restores circulation and keeps tissue alive. World War II soldiers accepted fragmented sleep as the price of survival, not a failure of endurance. Why eating fat before sleep became standard practice. Calories are fuel and fat burns slow and hot. Soldiers learned quickly that going to sleep hungry in the cold was a mistake. Before rest, they ate whatever high-fat ration they had. Lard, chocolate, canned meat, or even stolen civilian butter became night fuel. This wasn't about comfort, it was metabolic strategy. The body produces heat while digesting fat, maintaining core temperature through the coldest hours of night. Applied today, eat dense calories before sleeping in cold environments. Carbohydrates burn fast. Fat lasts. World War II soldiers knew this long before nutrition science caught up. How mental discipline determined who slept and who froze. Perhaps the most overlooked hack was psychological. Soldiers were taught to fight panic and lethargy. Cold tempts you to surrender. Men who stopped adjusting their posture, stopped checking their feet, or stopped caring, often didn't wake up. Veterans described forcing themselves to stay mentally alert even while resting. Small rituals mattered. Checking socks, repositioning insulation, repeating routines. Discipline kept the body alive when exhaustion begged for stillness. For modern survivalists, this lesson is critical. Cold survival is as mental as it is physical. Complacency kills faster than snow. World War II soldiers didn't have modern sleeping pads, ultralight tents, or climate-controlled vehicles. What they had was knowledge forged under pressure. These 7 sleeping hacks were not optional tricks. They were survival law. If you study history to extract usable wisdom, this is exactly the kind that endures. If this kind of deep, practical history matters to you, subscribe to Iron Age Instincts and share this with someone who thinks survival is about gear instead of understanding. History doesn't repeat itself, but cold ground always behaves the same.